Hey everybody, welcome to my Suburban Oasis. My name's Soleil and I garden in a Zone 6A in mid-Michigan, and today we're going to be planting some of the annuals that we got during the plant haul video that we just showed you. So we're going to start out front and we're going to begin building our color palette with the impatiens. And so here we are out in my front porch area, which is looking devoid of much color right now. I did come through and actually plant some impatiens in this window box here. They're still nice and small, so I'll be fertilizing them with some Miracle-Gro fertilizer just to help them grow big and begin to fill out. But this is a really nice colorful planter, probably in just a few weeks. And then we're going to move those colors into the front porch area. I have a heucherella down in here. I believe this is the Red Rover variety. Now, this one doesn't look very red because it's in so much shade, and I planted this in this pot last fall, and so I'm going to be pulling that out. We're going to fill this pot up with impatiens, and then we are also going to fill the pot above it with impatiens. And we are then going to swing down over here alongside the front porch and plant up this area. And we did something very similar last year and I was super happy with the results. So I want to do it again this year because I don't have a lot of time to put any more thought into what I'm going to be doing here, and sometimes it's just fun to repeat what you've done last year if you really enjoyed it. So I might change it up again next year, but for now we're going to stick with the plan and plant up these impatiens. All right, let's get going. I have this bucket of soil that I'm going to use if I need it, as well as another bag of soil, but first we're just going to start by pulling out this heuchera, which probably hasn't even barely rooted in. I am correct, and it really needs some trimming up, but like I said, this should color up really well. I'm going to put it into a shady area, but right now we're going to move it off the porch. So I'm just going to set it aside for now. All right, I thought this was the Red Rover, but I just found the tag, and this is actually the Hopscotch Fun and Games. And I don't know if you guys recall, but in my most recent garden tour video, I actually decided I was going to divide my hopscotch so that I could kind of fill in behind them. Well, this is kind of fantastic because now I don't necessarily have to divide them. I can actually just plant this one in that same area. So great, perfect. Well, it looks like the chipmunks or the squirrels or whatever have definitely had their way with this pot. We have some different pine cones as well as some roots that are left from last time, so I'm just going to grab that stuff out. All right, let me get the impatiens and we'll start planting. All right, so I got these impatiens just recently at let me see, I think I got these at Lowe's. Yeah, we're definitely going to need some more soil. I'm actually just going to dump some of this bucket in here. It's not as easy as it looks. I'm going to make a big mess, I think. I kind of want to know if any of you guys, when you garden, if you don't make a big mess. I feel like it's part of the fun of gardening, although then you still have to clean up after yourself. So we're just going to stuff this pretty full, just like I did the window box, because it's in such deep shade. It does get a few hours of sunlight in the morning because this porch faces east. So if you have an area where you have a lot of deep shade, impatiens can be a great selection for that. And we're just going to work our way from back to front here. And I tried to place each one between the ones that are behind it, if that makes sense, kind of alternating where they're at, which will help them to fill in nicely. And once we get these in, I will probably need to backfill with a little bit more of the soil. Are any of you starting to pot up or plant out your pots, your annuals? I know for some people it sounds like you're still going through some pretty cold weather, and ours just recently finished up, so we're finally able to get out and put these in and not have to worry about a frost, at least I think. Okay, that should do it for that one. Now we're going to move to the one that's up top. All right, we're going to need some more soil up in this planter as well. And I will tell you that while we're doing like a monochromatic planting here, one of the things that I like about it is that you can actually see it from far away if you use all of the same type of plant. I know it's not really exciting maybe to some people to just utilize the same plant in multiple pots, but I feel like it has a really good, a really large impact in terms of visually. And so for me, that's what I'm going for. Let's see, how many do I think I can fit in here? Maybe 6? I think 6 is a good number. Let's throw one right down in the middle to start. And then we'll just plant the wheel around it. Try to get my spacing even when I'm planting like this, but it's okay if it's not perfect. Well, my porch is a really small place to work, but I think this has turned out pretty great. I'm excited about it. That's plant in the ground now. All right, so we're going to plant in this ground area right now, and that is going to help to continue to draw the eye up towards the porch and the window box as you're walking up the steps. And even though these are planted in the ground, I will likely still use a little bit of liquid feed on these just to get them really off to a good start. I really like the single packets that you can get that are just measured correctly to open up, and then you put them into your water can, and it's the exact right amount that is for mixing up. So you don't have to measure it out or anything like that. I've had the ones where you can measure, and I find that it's just a little bit more than I'd like to do. I'm usually in a hurry out in the garden trying to get things done. I shouldn't say a hurry, but I'm usually trying to get things done rather quickly because there's always so much to do. And I found the single packets to be the most useful for me. So this hosta is probably going to cover up quite a few of these, so I'm going to put some out here on the corner. And if it does, that's okay, but they'll probably, I'm going to point them towards the walkway here so that maybe they kind of spill over a little bit. And again, these will get about 12 inches wide, so these are being placed kind of close together, and that's just on purpose to make sure we get really nice full color. All right, so in this area, as we work our way down along the side, I'm going to plant these right near where the rocks are coming in here, in between the cracks. And again, just kind of pointing them forward so that they have good contact with the soil, but also so that I still will see them when the hostas and other plants really fully leaf out. At least that's the goal. You never know exactly what's going to happen in the garden, but you can try to plan for what you think will happen. I find that also putting the same plant along the edge of a border, at least for part of it, tends to really accentuate the lines of a garden bed. And I love that because then you can really kind of feel the shape and flow of the garden. Now in this space I'm going to fill in a little bit more because I have quite a few of these left. And indeed, because I have so many of them, we're going to fill up some of the pots that are underneath of the window basket as well, because I think that will even make a more dramatic impact. I've got some baby Japanese maples that are planted and they look kind of lonely, so I think these impatiens will help keep them some colorful company. These particular impatiens right here are probably going to end up being covered up by the large leaf hydrangea that's planted back here. But again, in the meantime, for the next month, you'll be able to see them very well, and then I think you'll still be able to see the ones along the front of the border. So these aren't much to look at. In fact, this one right here has not even leafed out yet. I'm not sure if it's going to make it or not, but we're going to give it a try. These are two baby Japanese maple seedlings that were seeded just by themselves from the maple that I have planted in front of the house. And because their pots look kind of bare, I think it'll be nice to fill them up with some impatiens. And with them being right beneath the window box here, I think that's going to be great for a cohesive look. And I think I'm just going to put like 4 in here because I don't want to take up too much root space with these impatiens. And that should fill out this pot really well. And then we'll do this one too. Well, I've had a lot of extra impatiens, it looks like, so we're going to fill up this pot as well. We'll put about 5 in here. And then I have this box down here that has some stones in it, and we'll put a few in here just kind of scattered in here as well. So I think you can start to see the pink from this far, and that's great because that means that it's all going to pull together really, really well once it gets warmer and these impatiens start to swell. But it's definitely much brighter interior already. Okay, let's go get our urns potted up. Okay, so we're going to start with these little urns. These are easy. So these heucheras were in here over the winter time, and now we're just going to add the alyssum, which this is the Easter bonnet violet alyssum. I have to say that most of the alyssums to me either look like they're purple or kind of a reddish pink or a white. They definitely keep adding different varieties, but to me they all kind of look like 3 different varieties. So we're going to take all 6 of these and we're going to pop them in here just to ensure again that we have nice full coverage. And this will be a really wonderful and simple planter though still, because all we have is 2 plants. So if you're new to gardening and you look at somebody's planter and it's super duper full, it's probably been planted for a while, and it will start out looking a little bit more like this if you do it at home. But it's good because that way it will last throughout the season. If you buy one that's all full right now, it will be ready to expire before the end of July and you won't get to enjoy it that long. Isn't that stunning? I think the simplicity of these planters is fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them fill in. Okay, well, I have my big urn planters here, and these require quite a few different plants in them, but we're only going to go with 3 different plants. I have my Sweet Caroline Raven ornamental sweet potato vine, which is going to be pointing forward, kind of over spilling the edge of this, and then we're going to be using our seed geraniums as well as our calabricoa, and these are the grape punch variety. And I'm going to put a geranium in the middle, and those should get a little bit taller, I think, than the calabricoa, and the calabricoa should be spilling over the edge a little bit. Now I do also have some creeping thyme that I've been growing in these pots. I planted it last year, so I'm hoping that will also kind of creep over the edge and tie into the little border that I have at the bottom of this step of the thyme, which is just starting to bloom. All right, I'm going to start with the very center. We're going to put 1 geranium in the middle. And then, like I said, I'm going to kind of put this one not just straight to the front, but sort of off kilter here, so that as you're walking in between the pots, they're kind of pointing towards you. Hopefully that makes sense. And I'm going to kind of tilt this one towards the front just so it starts spilling as soon as possible. Now I could go with the grape punch on either side of these or the geranium because I have 3 of each, but I'm going to put the geranium because it's much more of a contrast than if I put the grape punch right next to it. So the grape punch has a really deep dark circle in the middle, which I think picks up on the raven, but I'm going to put those after, and it's just going to be kind of an every other plant in here. And you will see I'm even planting the geraniums at a slight angle, just because this one should fill up the middle. I actually think I'm going to push the geraniums up a little bit more. There we go. I like the way that looks better. I think they'll grow better that way. All right, I'm going to finish the other one and we'll show you how they look together. So I think these urns turned out really beautiful. I'm really happy with the color. I like the way that the plants play with each other, and they're all going to be about the same in terms of their watering needs, which is very important when you're planting in a pot. I'm looking forward to seeing these fill out. I think they're going to look great in this bright, bright sun. Okay, we're going to plant the rest of our beautiful little Easter bonnet violet alyssums back here. We have a tiny quickfire hydrangea, and so these are still going to show no matter what over here. So I want something just to soften the edge of the border. And now in front of this black pearl heuchera, we'll put some in here. And again, I like to put them just like kind of between the rocks because I feel like that's the perfect spot for them. It's kind of like where they would grow if they had self-seeded, I think. It's a walnut tree. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed planting these annuals with me and getting out in the garden. I know I'm really happy to have it done, and I can't wait to sit and relax and enjoy what they look like. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you next time.